Okay, okay, Rizbo.
Does
So,
that answer?
I mean, so one of the things is right is that some people, and I know you mentioned this, how one of the address that Shina has the same type of code that Shiba has, right? And how um, Shina was made back in 2021, but nobody knew about it at the time, right? And if correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just going off of that video that you made about two
Yeah.
or 3 months ago. But you mentioned something about it had the same deployer address that the ship team has. So am I? Is that right? Like
I
one
don't
of
think
the Ethereum addresses? Okay.
that's not something that I covered, so I wouldn't be able to speak to that. But the code is a modified copy as far as
Okay.
like the contract code. Yeah.
Okay. So some people might say, well, if Shina Inu is not a stable coin, then that can't be that she. So it might be another one. What do you say to those people then that are saying, well, Shina Inu because is not a stable coin, so maybe
Right.
it's a different she.
I mean, I have my own opinion about it, and that is that it may eventually either become the stable coin itself or it helps to support one somehow. And that's where it's kind of like you have to it's just not out there at face value. And I've been thinking a lot about this obviously since day one. Like why would anybody launch a stable coin just as a regular token? What benefit does that have? And I've come up with two different ideas myself and the guys that I've been talking to in the chat. And one I think is navigating regulations. So we know that the governments are targeting stablecoins. It's a big deal. So maybe they're just treading very lightly, and that's why they haven't launched the She stablecoin, just like they've launched everything else, because it's a sensitive issue, especially if you want to keep it truly decentralized. So they might be waiting on certain legislation to be clarified so that they can, figure out what the best strategy is to work with it or around it. So that could be one reason. Another reason could be if they launched a stable coin today, who's going to who's going to buy it in it like right away? There's probably a lot of SHIB whales waiting to cash in on that. And then is that problematic as far as decentralization goes? Because we know nobody controls SHIB. Everyone has to buy these tokens. No one is gifted them. No one has airdropped them. So how do they kind of prevent something from becoming too centralized? You know what I'm saying? Like, if everyone's waiting for this, how do they kind of keep it fairly distributed? So I
No,
don't know if that makes any sense, but it's just something
yeah,
I thought of the other day.
yeah.
Um,
And you know what? I think that it's exciting, right? Because like you really keep tabs on this, and for me personally, I just want to see what will the evolution be, right? For not just Sheena but Shib as well. I think that uh Shiba Inu has changed my life, and that's before I knew that this coin was what some people would call a prophetic coin. Like I when I got into SHIB, I didn't even know anything about that. I just bought it because somebody told me about it, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll take a chance. And the next day I wake up, it 2x. Then I wake up again, the 2x again, and every day I would wake up and it would 2x. You know what I mean? So that was back in April of last year. So definitely exciting to see what the evolution will be of once these projects really will be working full throttle, but more importantly to me, once mass adoption happens, right? And you don't have to worry about using these the cabal system or the Babylonian system that we're currently using, because you mentioned earlier about how when we were talking about the FTX situation, how they're trying to cause FUD, right? Because they want to usher in their CBDCs. That's what it is, in my opinion. They want to usher in
yeah,
CBDCs and get people scared of crypto, so that way you're relying on their CBDCs. But if you decide to do that, I think you would be worse off because now it's even worse than we have the Babylonian system we have now, because then they'll be able to track everything that you do, everything, you know. I mean, granted, they can already track, a lot of things you do now, but that's why we have cash. But anyway, let me get off that because I can be
No, I'm
long.
glad you mentioned that. I don't know why I didn't even think to mention it earlier, because I actually just put out a video last night and I opened with the CBDC
Yep,
situation and basically explaining why this project is so near and dear to me, because all the rhetoric that you're getting from the team is freedom and DeFi. So there's no question in my mind that they're going to be doing something as far as a stable coin.
definitely, definitely. Um,